I am unashamed. What about you?
Welcome back to Unashamed. It's one of those deals for me, Zach. It's good to be home. We had the Nashville run. I'm in the middle of like a barnstorming the country tour. Lisa and I are someplace every week. And guess where I'm coming this week, Zach? Good old
where you coming.
North Carolina.
We're ready. You're going to preach at our church.
I am. I'm excited about it.
Is it a house? Is it a building? Is it?
What is it, Zach? I don't even know.
The church. Well, the church is not a building. We meet in a building, though. We do meet in a building.
I was going to test. You passed the test. That was he's smarter than he looks.
Oh yeah, he's
I knew you were setting me up on that one. Although we were at capacity on Sunday and spilling out into the foyer area. So I don't know what we're going to do next. We got to get a new building or something. What do you think, Jase?
I wouldn't start building new buildings.
Yeah. I didn't say build. I said get.
Are the building. Christ built the church on this church, on this rock. I will build my church.
Most of them go to multiple, services, and
we don't want to do that.
You get hung up on bricks, mortar.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good problem to have because people are wanting to come and hear the gospel. I mean, which is exciting.
Because
I think there's a massive thing going on in the culture right now. People are going back to church. I mean, I don't think it's just us. I hear a lot of churches are just overflowing with people right now.
Well, I saw, it's funny you said that, Zach, because yesterday morning I saw on X, Erica Kirk said, go to church.
Well,
that was her post.
Technically,
although,
can we go?
Because we are. But I knew what she meant.
See, Zach, I mean, right now, when you sat down in your chair and I looked up, of course, what's funny is Zach started talking, but he was on mute. And he just went on quite the speech.
Oh, he was
and then
just.
Finally, Al said,
one of the best speeches I've ever given.
You're on mute. And it just told me, I was like, you can look like you are doing something.
He was very passionate.
Nobody knew what you were saying.
Nobody knew this.
So that is the equivalent of a complete waste of time. But I saw, since I couldn't hear you, I was looking at you, and I thought, this is what happens when a 100% yuppie dad marries a woman who was born in the wilderness, which was my dad's sister, Jan. Because then one day you look at Zach, here he is.
He's the product of that.
Approaching 50, and he said, I'm going to wear a camouflage shirt today. You wouldn't notice when I wear camouflage because I wear camouflage all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
But Zach, that's his inner self wrestling with that.
Trying to figure out which way I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Well, but to be fair, there is a reason why I'm wearing this shirt. It's because it was free. And so
there you go.
One thing that will always trump Zach's life is cheapness. That's the one thing that's always there.
Well, since I have to confess, yesterday, Al, I did something that probably shouldn't have done. I mean, it's kind of
Jase has been doing a lot of confessing on this podcast.
I know. Look, we're all humans. We all make mistakes. I make plenty of them. And so yesterday we met. I thought you were preaching because you were in town.
Yeah, I made it back.
And so I just assume, usually when you come in, you're preaching.
Because I'm here so little. This is
we had a little man, so we're trying to teach him how to behave in a public setting. So we're doing that at 3.5. Doing pretty good with that. Lulu, who's my wife, Missy, but her grandma name is Lulu. She runs a pretty tight ship on that. And so we sat down.
Did that name just come about because did she pick that one out, or did that just the oldest one started calling her that?
You put me on the spot here. I don't know if I want to divulge my wife's middle name, but it involves the phrase Lou in some capacity.
That's like a closely guarded secret.
I'm not going to tell her middle name, and I don't want people looking it up. But so
what a
too
weird,
late. I just did it.
What a weird person.
But as he was saying it, I was doing the thing that he doesn't want people to do.
Half the things somebody told me this. They did the research. Half the things that are spoken about me on the internet
are not true,
are false.
Yeah.
Now that was a team of people that brought that to my attention. So so her middle name just got to be Lulu.
Okay.
And but we have a Lulu already in
We
the
do.
family, which is my cousin.
Which is one of our favorite cousins.
Well, let me tell you something.
We love
Jase.
Lulu more than Zach.
But it may not be true, but I mean, literally, the website that popped up was called DuckDynastyFandom.com. And it has all, it does have a name on here.
Don't advertise garbage. Look, I don't know if it is or not, but it may be. So stay off the internet and go outside. Is my,
All right.
So here's where you're hijacking my story. So I go there, and Al, the first song, we went to the a cappella service at our church. We're a lot like Zach's, living in this yuppie world, dip my toe into the outdoor world.
Yeah.
Because where we meet, they have an a cappella service and an instrumental service.
Right.
And
they run simultaneously.
That's a nice way of saying we couldn't work it out. And
some people do either or, some do both and. We're a both and kind of church.
It wouldn't be so funny if it weren't a little bit true. That's funny.
For the record, I would rather go to the contemporary service, but my wife likes the a cappella because I feel uncomfortable because it's not that I can't sing. My wife told me. Yeah. She said I can't hear. That's why my singing sounds more like a distress call. So I get there, and I'm like, but let's just say the a cappella service is a little bit more laid back than the contemporary. First song out of the gate, one of my good friends in the world, his name is Perky. That's his last name.
And he is Perky.
I call him Snap, Crackle, and Pop because since there's no instruments, he supplies all the accompaniments.
he supplies the percussion. He
is a percussionist. He played the drums in a marching band.
That joker will snap, clap, bebop, and pop. And so I'm like, okay. So anyway, I love that guy though. And so guess what the first song he leads? You're not going to believe this. First song out of the gate. I'm like, here we go. I'm here to worship. I've got a mansion just over the hilltop.
Oh, no.
And I kept, while we started singing, of course, I got little man there. I started saying, well, and Missy's looking at me. Look, we've
established, by the way, for those of you long-term listeners will remember that well means I'm not agreeing here.
No, and I found that in the one time.
In black churches,
I was
means
the only Caucasian, me and my couple of buddies in an African-American church one time that we were at a funeral.
Yeah.
And that's where I discovered that. I leaned over and
because I heard it as well at different times through my preaching career, and I always thought they were like saying, that's what I thought. So I leaned over and because one of my best friends in the world, who is happens to be black, he was in my wedding party. I mean, he's one of my best friends, and I leaned over and I said, "What's up with the well?" And he said, well, no joke. He went, well, and I thought, what's he fixed to say? He said, that means that they have a different point, a different interpretation of that application of the scriptures. And they're gonna talk to the pastor later. I said, there's a lot of wells going on here. I found that fascinating, but I really like that because, when we started singing that song, so if you don't know, it's like, it's the streets of gold, a mansion over the hilltop, but they're singing about heaven. And I'm like, we're the mansion. We're the street of gold. We're the temple.
I mean, what? We're going to all have little... I'm not against mansions. I just don't know how we got to that point of that song. I'm not sure theologically I agree with that, Al.
Right. Well, it came from our study of John 14, which we talked about.
And others. We are the building. Right. We are because my whole point, I'm going to say this again, because I know I'm making people uncomfortable because they love that song. It doesn't matter the stone and the brick that you're living, it's who you're with.
Yeah.
My first house I paid my mortgage was $350 a month, which you think, oh, what a great deal. It wasn't worth that. But that was almost half of what I was making. It was a dump.
Yeah.
Now, it's been fixed up since, but didn't matter. You know why? My wife was there. I mean, I'm in this, I'll live in a tent.
Yeah.
We can be roamer. I was in love.
So, Jase, I hit 60 this year, which you're
Your age?
Yeah, it's coming for you as well.
Lord willing.
Yeah, and so I decided at 60 that I needed to lose some weight and get a little bit healthier. And so I turned to our good friends at PhD Weight Loss, Dr. Ashley Lucas. Thousands of her clients have had success. Zach and I are now 2 more to add to that. The program teaches you what to eat, when to eat, and teaches you about your relationship with food so that you can keep this off for life, which is what I'm planning on doing. If you look at this picture of me, if you're watching this on YouTube, that's me at the beginning of the journey. Here I am some 7.5 months later. Now I'm down about 70 pounds. No gimmicks, no pills, no injections, no side effects, which is what I love about it. And you're not eating rabbit food and you're not hungry. It's high in protein. And there's some fat involved, which helps you to not be hungry. So PhD Weight Loss also provides up to 80% of your weekly foods at no extra cost. So check them out. I know you've been ready to do something. Now's the time to do it. Join me on my weight loss journey, Zach as well. You can schedule your one-on-one consultation today by giving them a call at 864-644-1900, or you can visit myphdweightloss.com. That's 864-644-1900. Tell them Al and Zach sent you. My first house was $8,500, and it was the little house, little fishing camp next door to Mom and Dad, and it didn't have a bathroom. So it had an outhouse behind it. So
if you read Revelation 21 closely and you see this bride of Christ coming down from heaven, this holy city, which is a depiction of who, Al?
Us.
And then it describes the holy city with all these jewels and jasper, and there's streets of gold. It's talking about the bride of Christ coming down out of heaven.
And when the bright light
looks a lot like a temple. Looks a lot like a temple.
When the light shines on it, we shine.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I'm just saying, if you read John 14,
a lot of those songs we sing, they do give the impression that we're going to heaven. It's somewhere out there. We're going to it. When I think the biblical picture is the new it's coming to us, right? Like the new city is coming to us, the new Jerusalem.
Well, that's
but
what it
I do
says.
want to push back. I do want to push back on this. I think that when people say, "Well," I think they actually mean I agree. I want to push back on that. I think it's an agreement.
That's what he told me. He said, so I don't know.
But but another thing, first song I ever led in church when I was about 6 years old was that
Mansion
song.
Over the Hilltop?
Mansion Over the Hilltop. That was the first song that I led.
It's kind of a hootenanny song.
Let me read this. There was a little debate that came up in a little place called Corinth, and Paul wrote a letter there.
Yeah.
And there were different people following people that were not named Jesus. Mm-hmm. And so he starts chastising them. And he gets all the way to 1 Corinthians 3 and verse 6. And in our garden theme, he brings up, there's a lot in here about seeds and gardens and planting. And this all started in a garden, and it seems to end in a garden. You say, what? Life itself and God dwelling with people. Him coming down from heaven. But anyway, in verse 6 of chapter 3, 1 Corinthians, he says, I planted the seed, Apollos watered it, but God made it grow. So neither he who plants nor he who waters is anything, but only God who makes things grow. The one who plants and the man who waters have one purpose, and each will be rewarded according to his own labor. And he's talking about sharing Jesus, planting the seed, and God making it grow. Verse 9, 1 Corinthians 3, for we are God's fellow workers. You are God's field, God's building. By the grace God has given me, I laid a foundation. Who's the foundation? Who's the cornerstone?
Sounds like Jesus.
I'm going to build my church. And someone else is building on it. Each one should be careful how he builds, for no one can lay any foundation other than the one already laid, which is Jesus Christ. So I've got a mansion over the hilltop. His name is Jesus. He's the cornerstone of that. And people are the walls and the ceiling.
Living stones.
We're all on the foundation. So somebody write a song about that.
Zach, get on that.
So look, when Pink Floyd famously sang the song, which I agree with, because if you're just in the world, and I mean in the world that the evil one is in control of, we're just all bricks in a wall. Bricks, they break apart.
Yep.
They crumble. Remember that?
Yeah.
We're just another brick in the wall.
One of Dad's favorites.
The building we're a part of in the world, not this world, but the world Jesus created as the foundation. The walls are people who have the Spirit in them.
Yeah. I like it. So what did you do?
Well, but I will say that at the second coming of Christ, when John has the vision of this city coming down, I do think that what has started as a temple in people will actually become a temple that will encompass the entire globe. So it will grow into something outside of ourselves that will encompass the entire globe. Because
that's the not yet part.
That's the not yet part.
But here's why I'm saying that. Back to 1 Corinthians 3, verse 12. If any man builds on this foundation using gold, silver, costly stones, wood, hay, or straw, let's say even if you build a mansion, his work will be shown for what it is, because the day will bring it to light. It will be revealed with fire, and the fire will test the quality of each man's work. I'm not making this up. He's the one using this illustration. Don't put your hope in a building that's built by, what did it say? Gold, silver, stones, wood, hay, or straw. It will be revealed with fire, and the fire will test the quality of each man's work. If what he has built survives, he will receive his reward. If it is burned up, he'll suffer loss. He himself will be saved, but only as one escaping through the flames. Don't you know that you yourselves are God's temple, and that God's Spirit lives in you? If anyone destroys God's temple, well, who is that? That's us.
Yeah.
God will destroy him.
No, and you see it even practically, because like I've traveled all over Europe. You go into these huge, old, amazingly beautiful buildings, but they're like a big museum. There's no people there, you know, and people usually pay just to walk around and look in there and take pictures. And then I've been to Haiti to literally a group of people that were meeting on what used to be garbage that became land, because it was a dump. And there were 500 people meeting there, Zach, and they didn't even have a roof over it. They were just out there singing. I mean, it was so just spirit-filled and powerful situation. Now, you look at those two, most people would take the picture of that mausoleum as the ultimate place we should be. And I was like, well, that seems kind of dead.
Oh, exactly.
That's why. I mean, that's the whole teaching of Jesus and Stephen was, and Paul, that God didn't live in the temples or buildings built by the hands of men. But
there you go.
When we went to Rome, it was interesting that we got to see the ruins of the Roman Empire, which are honestly staggering to think about. Even though we're looking at the ruins of like the Colosseum, and we're like, this thing is huge.
Isn't that
like
something?
Or
The
Nero's
most
temple,
powerful nation. I mean, think America back then, Rome,
on steroids.
we're the beast. And that's why when you read that, I didn't finish reading that verse, but 17, when it says, and you are that temple. 1 Corinthians 3:17, you are that temple. I mean, and that temple, God's temple, is sacred.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, that was my. I felt like I needed to read that. I know we didn't plan on going there, but you brought it up. And so, Al, what I did, here's confessing my
I wanted to
sin.
hear. So the confession was not just the well.
17 minutes later. What happened was when they started singing I Got a Mansion Over the Hilltop, I just started studying my Bible. I sat down and I thought, I haven't had time to
You're
study.
surrounded by people, but now you got your little private study going.
And here's what I came up with that led to a series of events. Now, I didn't know the service was over until the guy was leading the closing prayer. I missed everything from Mansions Over the Hilltop to the closing prayer. I was engrossed in my Bible sitting there. I don't even know.
You weren't even a passive listener.
I don't even know if little man was a good boy.
Yeah.
I was studying. It was so exciting because here's what, look, we've been studying the prayer of Jesus in John 17.
You're about to lose Acts 2 there. I see that.
I am. But that's a good sign now. I've spent a lot of time in Acts 2. It's ripped. John 17, there's a statement in verse, and here's why I didn't notice this. In verse, I know we were moving
So
on
while
way
other
too-
people were preaching and praying and singing, this is what you were doing.
I went to John 17, 18. I was
Okay.
reading the whole prayer, but in verse 18, it says, as you sent me, it's Jesus praying, into the world, I have sent them into the world. Now, the reason that stuck out to me, because I thought, well, he's going to say that again, and I was familiar with this verse. In John 20, in verse 21, Jesus said, now we're at post-resurrection, the empty tomb. Remember, Mary had just mistaken Jesus for the gardener.
Yep.
And she got to be the first one to declare in verse 18, I have seen the Lord. And he was dead.
Yeah.
3 days. I have seen the Lord.
Which is a great inside, almost an inside joke that Jesus would appear to a woman
And
first.
Yeah.
Hey, you know that we love the product when we're willing to promote something called the bubble cuddle.
This morning I took little man fishing and my shoes got wet.
Yep.
And it's cold in this room.
It's very cold.
So my feet are cold. So I have the bubble cuddle blanket. And look, this thing is warm.
It is
So-
and cozy.
I have my feet, which are very cold because they're wet, and I'm going to see what this does.
All right, here we go.
Let's see.
For those of you listening, he just covered his feet.
It's like,
It's like cozy in a bubble.
That's why we love Cozy Earth. They got sheets, pajamas. They got the bubble cuddle blanket. They're soft and crazy comfortable. I'm telling you guys, these guys are absolutely amazing. Once you try Cozy Earth, you'll know exactly what I mean. They also have bamboo sheets, and Cozy Earth bamboo sheets are temperature regulating, so they guarantee a comfortable night's sleep. They naturally wick away heat, moisture. I literally sleep several degrees cooler, which is a total game changer. You can even try Cozy Earth sheets risk-free for 100 nights. If you don't love them, send them back, but trust me, you're not going to want to. Once you feel them, you're going to want them to last a decade. Trust me. We love the sheets. We also, Al and I think we all got the pajamas, matter of fact.
Missy has been buying us Cozy Earth pajamas for years.
So you guys could join the Cozy Earth family. Head on over to CozyEarth.com and use our code, Unashamed, for up to 20% off, and you get a post-purchase survey. Make sure you let them know you heard about Cozy Earth right here. That's CozyEarth.com, code Unashamed for up to 20% off, because home isn't just where you live, it's how you feel. Let's go home with Cozy Earth.
And so then he comes up in verse 19, says, peace, I come in peace. And he showed them his hands and his side. The disciples were overjoyed when they saw the Lord. And he said, here he is again, peace be with you. Why does he keep saying peace? Because if you can't die,
Yeah.
you're experiencing real peace.
Yeah.
Take out any thought of ever dying.
Yeah.
There's a certain peace that we can't wrap our head around, and that's it.
Yeah.
If you don't have to worry about death, if it's no longer a problem, we got peace.
Yeah.
You
Complete peace.
remember in the hippies movement in the 1960s? They were like, peace,
Peace, man.
This piece that we're discussing, way better.
Yeah.
Way better.
So your big beef with the song though is what's your main beef with the song?
My beef with the song is that we've come together as the temple of God in one place to celebrate the cornerstone, Jesus, the resurrection of the dead. We're going to live forever together. And we're going to start off saying, oh, I'm excited because one day
I'll have a mansion.
I'm going to get a mansion. What?
I think the mansion though is I think it's a picture of the New Jerusalem. That's what I think it is. I think that's what the song means. Okay. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't write it.
Well, I didn't know I had to interpret a metaphor when singing a song. Sounds like to me that somebody wrote that song in a time when times were hard, and he was living in a shack. And he said, "I'm gonna follow Jesus." And they're like,
my mansion.
And I tell you one thing. Now you may look at this old dive I'm living in now, but one day I'm going to live in a mansion. And I've heard people preach this. They're like, they'll go to Revelation 21. And I heard a fiery preacher one time. He said, there's streets of gold. Heaven is expensive. And I just was thinking, what? I don't care about gold. I was thinking about 1 Corinthians 3. I thought, and I'm a treasure hunter. And when I find gold, I found gold. I was excited.
Yeah.
But that's nothing compared to living forever with the people I love and God, His presence being there, and we're going to do this.
But John uses that language in Revelation 21. He talks about a wall built of jasper, while the city was pure gold, like clear glass. The foundations of the wall of the city were adorned with every kind of jewel. The first was jasper, the second sapphire, the third agate.
Who is that describing? That's describing the place we're going to stay at or the people?
It's describing both. It's not. That's what I'm saying. I think that's the point. I think of Revelation 21 and 22. He does say, "I saw no temple, for its temple is the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb." But
I will respectfully disagree with that depiction of this passage, but that's okay. I guess we got to live somewhere. But if we're not bound by time and space, I just don't feel like that's a big issue.
Yeah.
Well, you see this language in here about the cleanliness. Nothing clean will come inside, and that's
nothing
all
unclean.
Language.
Nothing.
Nothing unclean will come inside. So there's the picture that he's painting here is that the new heavens and the new earth will all be a temple. And so that's centered on the cornerstone of Jesus Christ Himself, the temple, right? And we're living stones, but the whole globe, the whole universe will be God's temple.
Look, I'm all for it. It's awesome. I know we're going to live somewhere. I'm saying put the emphasis on who you're with, not where you're at.
That's true.
That's going to be spectacular. It is. But we already have a spectacular planet. And my point is, that's not working with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Romans 1, they're looking around and they're saying God didn't make this. They're looking at the place because they've been disconnected with the Creator. And he said the biggest problem in life is if you start serving created things rather than the Creator. Yeah. I'm not coming up with this on my own. I'm saying the hub of the Bible is relational.
Yeah.
Make it about who you're living with in the mansion, and then I'm back in.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's biblical because you go back to the Exodus. That's basically what Moses understood whenever he was in that moment where they had built a golden calf and everybody's kind of freaking out because of what they've done, primarily Moses. And Moses is like, this is bad. And God's like, okay, I'm gonna let you go to the promised land still, but here's the only catch. So in other words, you're going to the place. I'm going to give you the place I told you I was going to give you. The only catch is I'm not going to go with you. I'm not going to be there. And that's when Moses is like, well, if that's the case, I don't even want to go. Like, if you're not going, I'm not going. Like, your presence has to go with us. And I think that is a picture of how we should how we should view our salvation as not going to the place, heaven / promised land, The reason why heaven is heaven, the reason why the promised land was the promised land was because the presence of God was going to go with Israel. The presence of God will go with us. If he's not there, then it's actually would be hell. And I think that is a good point.
So we agree.
So, and I'll give you a practical illustration of just what Jase was describing. So 12 years ago, we bought what in my world would be a mansion for us. I mean, like we bought a big house in town and we moved in, but we moved in with Anna and Jay and two of their daughters. And then as their family grew, we wound up buying a double wide trailer out back, which is now where we live.
You bought a mansion for somebody else.
I bought a mansion for somebody else. But look, the reason that matters is because Anna and Jay are on one side of me and their 3 daughters, and now a grandson-in-law, and Alex and Vinny are on the other side. I'm in the double-wide trailer, but I'm as happy as I've ever been because my grandkids surround me. Like, it doesn't matter that I'm in a double-wide versus the mansion sitting next door.
And you did kind of move to Alabama, too. So that, yeah.
Well, I have another place, but
I like that song. I'm in a double-wide in heaven. Guess what? If I'm there,
that's right. That's my point.
It's pretty fun when you're there. It's like your house,
and everybody wants to stay in my double wide.
I just never thought we were going to have to argue this, but for some reason Zach thinks I'm wrong on this. But
I'm just adding a little bit of nuance for you, a little protection on the other side.
People have asked about this because I was thinking about John 17 when it first starts. Remember, he looked towards heaven when he started that prayer. Yes. So there is this idea that beyond here is something, and yet here is something as well. So, I mean...
I think the whole point, though, is it's connected through him.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, in the beginning...
That's the key.
God created the heavens and the earth.
Which is the cosmos. It's everything.
Hang on here. If we're going to heaven, he created that.
Right.
I want to be with the Creator.
Yeah.
He's going to bring heaven and earth. I think it's symbolic of the separation that occurred because of man's sin and in cahoots with the evil one.
Right.
He's going to bring it back together. The key point is that he's now dwelling with people.
Yeah.
Forever. Right. You're like, well, what's it going to look like?
Yeah, I think what I was pushing back. I'm not saying you were saying this, but this is not a Gnostic view of the world where the physical world doesn't matter. It's actually quite the opposite. The physical world now has real meaning. And the way it's interesting that I made this analogy the other day that if I told you, I preached this at our church. I said, if I told you that I had a place that you could go and live forever, would you be interested? And everybody would probably raise their hand. Yes, I'm interested. Okay. Then I say, well, the only thing is about this place, it's a 10 by 4 by 2 foot box, the size of about a coffin. You get inside of it, I nail it shut, but you'll live forever. You'll be sustained. You'll never have to eat you will live forever in this box. Would you still be interested? And everybody would say, no, that would sound like a living hell to be trapped inside of a container like that for eternity. And then I said, well, what if I expanded that box to maybe a 10 by 10 room and maybe one chair? Would you be interested then? No, I still wouldn't. And no matter what you expand that box to and what amenities you put in there, given enough time, you will have exhausted everything inside of that world, and it would eventually become your own hell. It would become claustrophobic. You would hate it. It would be miserable. And the thing with the kingdom is that the reason why the kingdom eternal life is not that you're going to exist in a box forever. It's that you're going to be in a relational community forever. And by the way, I think that actual physical box is going to expand forever. And we'll be having dominion and cultivating and building things and creating cultures. And we're going to be doing things forever and ever and ever. And we'll never, ever fully exhaust the creation that God has given us. Will never fully exhaust his glory. Will never fully exhaust our relationship with him. And I think that is one of the key characteristics of heaven. So I don't know if you guys have been paying attention or not, but the feds have cut the rates. So we expect interest rates on mortgages to drop very soon. You could save a ton of money on everything that you finance. And that is great news, right? It is. But here's the thing. To cash in on the savings, you have to have a higher credit score. Well, how can you do that? Well, you can do that with Smart Credit. On average, Smart Credit users raise their credit score up to 34 points in just 30 days. I've actually used this myself, and it does work. Imagine it. A lower car payment, better mortgage rates, and major savings just in general. Smart Credit's patented technology, what it does, it scans your credit profile, then it pinpoints exactly which bills that you need to pay and how much to maximize your score, and it'll tell you right there on the screen. It's like having the best credit knowledge in your pocket. Yeah, I wish I would have had this service back in my younger days, but I use it now, and I'm telling you, I've increased my credit score. So don't wait. Take control of your credit score with Smart Credit and be ready to cash in when interest rates fall. Start with your 7-day trial at smartcredit.com/unashamed. for just $1 and see how many points you can add to your credit score. Just $1. That's smartcredit.com/unashamed. Average point changes are based on historical data. Individual results may vary and are not guaranteed.
All right. So I don't know how an argument broke out here, but it did. So as good as that metaphor was, you're missing my point, because I'll see your metaphor with another metaphor, because
Okay,
that
like
metaphor does not depict my thoughts on this. No, I think it's a great metaphor for someone who's outside of Christ. Okay.
Yeah.
But here's going to be my point. Let's say that you are promised the same metaphor, eternal life, and it's not just a deserted island. It's the most spectacular. It's better than anything on earth. You're free to roam tens of thousands of miles. You're not bound by space, so you can travel universes. So same metaphor, except you have to do it by yourself for eternity. Would you do it?
Zach?
I'm saying
you're going to run into the same problem.
Yeah.
And that's my point, because I'm focusing in on the relational aspect of the Bible, not the
Oh, that's what I just said.
No, but you had me in a box. Now that I think I'm claustrophobic anyway. I'm saying you're free to roam.
But I was using a rhetorical device to. I started there because people would answer the question that you just gave. Most people would say, "Yeah, I'll take that." But
they would be wrong, because if you were by yourself, because it comes back to why Jesus said at the end of John 17, I look forward to having the love that we had in the beginning.
Yeah.
Love, it can't be forced, or it's no longer love. We get into that same concept we talked about as truth. If you're forcing me to do something through violence, where's love in that?
Yeah.
Like, Caesar saying, "Follow me or I'll cut your head off." Well, we've lost love here. You'll follow him and you'll do what he's saying, and that is the truth. But you've lost love.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it can't be forced, and it must be shared.
Yeah.
And so that's why I gave the illustration of you having eternity in the greatest heavenly atmosphere of all time. If you were by yourself, it would not be fulfilling. At some point, you would either go crazy or try to figure out how to end your life.
Yeah.
I mean, who wants to be alone forever?
Right.
Okay, that was my argument. I tried.
Well, I think what makes Earth so special is, comparatively to the heavens, is one, God made it, and it is a fantastic place. But two, what really makes it special is that the creator of the cosmos decided to come here. One of my favorite lines that I like to say when I'm speaking on behalf of the unborn in a pro-life setting is that the creator of the cosmos could have come to earth however he wanted to, because he made it, but he chose to come here through the womb of a teenage girl, and from her perspective and her betrothed husband, an unplanned pregnancy. I mean, here we are, we're doing this on behalf of the unborn. It's like, that's how God came here. So
bringing potential scandal to their lives.
Right.
Because anybody's like, ooh, yeah,
The people around Nazareth and up in that area, they didn't believe that. Scandalous.
So I was gonna. I mean, I guess this podcast has gone off the rails.
It's officially off the rails.
I'll tell you this, Zach. I'll compromise. If you'll change the word "I" to "we've," I'll go with the song. We've got a mansion. It says "I."
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I don't like that.
Yeah,
living by yourself in a mansion. There's a lot of people on this planet right now living in mansions by themselves, wondering where it all went wrong.
That's right. They're not happy people most of the time.
No,
I would probably add we've got some mansions because it's more than one. It's going to be a whole city, so it's not just one mansion.
Okay,
There's
it took you a
lot.
while, but you're anti. What was that phrasey? Gnostic belief.
Yeah.
Are there any Gnostics still left on the planet?
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Was that?
I don't want to call out who they are, but I got some ideas on who they are.
Well, I haven't met any.
But I don't want to label a whole group of people, but I got a few.
So now, since we just have gone nowhere, I'm going to tell you a story.
All right.
So I read John 20:21 while I'm listening to Mansions Over the Hilltop.
Other people are worshiping. You're reading.
And here's what's funny. When I looked at, I forgot why I looked up in the Greek that verse, the Greek lexicon. So, and I've brought this up a million times.
Because you didn't read that. You said, peace be with you. And then the next line is, as the Father has sent me, I am sending you, which is a repeat of what he said.
Repeat. And there's other places he says that.
Yeah, true.
So here's the creator of the universe who says, I'm going to bring a new creation, a new humanity. I'm going to go back to the Father, but I'm going to send you the Holy Spirit, thus connecting heaven and earth in some capacity.
Right.
And now I'm not going to pray. I'm not going to say, take them out of the world. I'm going to leave them there and pray for protection. And I'm going to send them as you sent me. Him praying to the Father.
Yeah.
So then he says that in John 20 and 21, and either symbolically or literally, when he said that in verse 22, he breathed on them. The only time that word is used, which I've said this a few times, and somebody said, why do you keep saying the New Testament? But I'm basing that on in Hebrews, that a testament does not go into place until the guy given the truth dies. So the New Testament. So I realize at this point he has died and has been buried and and is raised.
Right.
So don't try to correct me. Somebody asked me about that. They're like, you keep saying that in the Gospels, you keep calling that the New Testament. Well, I'm doing that on purpose because after he died, this is the New Testament.
Yeah.
So even though we're in John 20, right?
Yeah.
Based on Hebrews, I think that's common sense. But anyway, I had that interaction. So he says, receive the Holy Spirit. He breathed on them. Well, that's the only place in the New Testament where we use that word breathe. Well, that's the same word that is used in Hebrew when God breathed into Adam life. Remember? He took the dirt and he breathed. Well, this is the new creation. And he breathed on them and said, receive the Holy Spirit. Don't you find this fascinating? Mm-hmm. This actually goes in with our last podcast about the garden, the new creation. Right. So I looked this verse up. Here's what I found interesting. This is the story. Man, I don't have a long time to tell it. So you see those two, the word send, as the Father has sent me.
Yeah.
I'm sending you.
Right.
Let me tell you something fascinating.
2 different words.
Did you know that?
Yeah, you told me before.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. You told me. I didn't know it until you told me.
It's 2 different words. So I thought, oh, wait. Now, in our English, if somebody is sent, they're sent. We just said, that's why it's translated, as the Father has sent me, I am sending you. But it's 2 different words. And they're not even spelled anywhere near alike. So one of them is, of course, when I saw that, I thought, have I missed something here? Because why is he using 2 different words? So I I went on a little rabbit hole and I looked up everywhere these two words are mentioned, and they seem to be interchangeable because in the John 17 prayer, well, he used the same word.
Yeah.
Which is it looks like apostle. So one of the words, as the Father has sent me, the word looks like the word apostle.
Which just means one who is sent.
Yeah. Let me see. I think I wrote this down. Yeah, I did. I wrote it down. So in this case, it's like apostolos.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at pronouncing Greek words. And the other word, so I'm just going to say pimpo for short. But it has variations of that.
Yeah, that's the root.
So one of the biggest blessings of our lives has been our connection to the continent of Africa through a lot of different ministries we've been a part of. We would love to have you guys join us on that mission. One of the things I love about Tomorrow Clubs is that they reach kids in tough places like the Binga district of Zimbabwe where other ministries aren't working.
Well, this is actually Jesus' mission that he passed on to us. He said, go into all of the world, go make disciples of all nations.
Yeah, and Binga is one of the most underdeveloped, isolated areas in Zimbabwe. Roads are really tough and the food insecurity is real there. So in a typical village, you'll find 1,000 kids in at least one church. The problem is that most churches don't have the tools to reach and disciple those kids. So that's where Tomorrow Clubs step in by giving local churches the training and the resources to pour into the next generation. So right now, there's over 5,000 kids in 44 Binga area villages that are part of Tomorrow Club, but the door is wide open. 40 more villages and 5,000 more kids could be reached by the end of the year. And so what we're asking is this, for the unashamed audience to make that happen. It takes about $2,000 to launch a Tomorrow Clubs in a new community, and that covers discipleship materials, life skills, leader training, and a year of support. So whether you sponsor an entire community with a $2,000 gift or contribute any amount you want, you can be part of this amazing opportunity to transform families, churches, and entire communities. To join the Binga Blitz, reaching the next generation for Christ in Binga, visit tomorrowclubs.org/unashamed. That's tomorrowclubs.org/unashamed.
Yeah, that's the root word of it. So like in John 20:21, it's like, as the Father sent me, the apostolos, I am sending you, which is the pimpo word.
Okay.
So I started looking at the definitions. The problem is people who define Greek, well, they're just kind of giving it their best shot because none of the people that I'm reading are from Greece. Remember Phil's joke when he used to say, I'm going to check the Greek on that? Well, he actually knew a woman.
Yeah. Kula.
From Greece. And he would say, hey, this word.
He would call her.
Which, look, she knew the language. So it was very helpful.
That's right.
When she would say that.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a big theological narrative I'm trying to get to here. But I do think, number one, he did that on purpose. John, when he's recording that, because one time in John 17, he used the same word.
Yeah.
And so you obviously know what that means. If I said define apostle, what does that mean? One sent forth. He has the authority.
Yep.
So that's why it's always used for Jesus' mission, because he's on a mission from God the Father,
Yep.
which is over and over he says that. So I think there's something to that.
Mm-hmm.
When he was sent, he had authority from God. And think even at the end, based on his resurrection, when he said, all authority in heaven and earth has been given to me, and then therefore go.
Yeah.
Now I'm sending you.
Right.
So
Great commission.
On the Pimpo, it's used more, not even in the context of our job as Spirit-filled people in the mission, which it is here, but in other cases, the word is used as in, I'm going to send you down there, like I'm going to send you over, and remember about the donkey, and he's like, tell him I need that or whatever. I'm sending you over there.
Right.
So in its context, most of the time, it's like a temporary errand, that you're running.
In that case, it would be descriptive of you're doing it for him. In other words,
exactly.
Tell him I sent you.
So that's the best way to describe it. It's like God has a job, but I think this is powerful because it gets back to what we were talking about last podcast. We were created for a purpose. And now Jesus is tying this into the very purpose. You're supposed to reflect the image of God. And now I've given you the resources to do that.
Yeah.
It's called the new creation. And not only that, here's the key. I'm giving you the power to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you my spirit. It gets a little wonky when you start reading what all the scholars think about this, because they're real careful, because they're like, all these verses that say, like 1 John 2, I think it's verse 6, whoever wants to live a godly life must walk as Jesus did. Well, that's where we're like, well, we can't. Your first reaction is, I can't do that. I can't.
Well,
But
not perfect.
He's given you his spirit.
Yeah.
And as he was sent, he's sending us. And I think it makes perfect sense, even how we got the Bible. God used flawed people as they were carried along by the Holy Spirit to write this book.
Right.
And so that's why you have, like, take the 4 Gospels. Well, you have different, the same story, but it's a little different. You say, why? Because he chose people to write it as they were carried along by the Holy Spirit. So that's why when you share Jesus, you're doing the same thing. You have flaws, but you have God's Spirit.
Right.
So that dynamic is what he's capturing, but it goes to the overall view of the entire Bible, which this is why we're here, to make Jesus known. And so I found it fascinating, but I was trying to find out, I want to know from somebody who knows this language good, why he chose those 2 words. So every resource I went through didn't work. And one of our buddies that we went to preaching school with, I asked him about it, and he had a good idea. He said, why don't you ask old Larry Bowles? He spent a lot of time in Greece.
Yeah.
So I thought, perfect. So I sent Larry, y'all remember Larry?
Oh, yeah.
He's been on the podcast many times. So I sent him a text. I'm trying to find it. Basically describing what I've just described. I'm like, hope all is well. And then I put, ask one of your Greek-speaking friends, if you have any. That was good. What is the best definition for the 2 different Greek words for sent used in John 20:21, apostello and pempo? They are used a lot in John separately, like sending the Spirit in John 14:26.
Yep.
Pempo. He said, I'm going to send you the Spirit.
Right.
Spirit. So it's on a mission, kind of. And the reason I think it's used temporary, because it gets back to the not yet now.
Yeah.
We have a mission.
Right.
Now, we're declaring Jesus to the world. When that's over, we're all going to be resurrected. Light shows where you're at in Jesus.
Yep.
Some people are going to live eternally. The rest, not so much.
Yeah.
So that's my text, basically. And I was like, no biggie, whatever you think. So he's like, hello, dear brother. We are actually in Athens now. I'm like, perfect. All he's got to do is walk outside and say, hey, get
There's
over.
Greek speakers everywhere.
Of course, then he rebukes me because he said, I got your text at 4 a.m. our time. It woke me up. But I'm going to work on this, and I still love you. He's mad that I woke him up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, my bad, no biggie. So the dude sends me a Word document, and he said, I got a friend, a scholar, that's in the UK on Greek and Hebrew language, and he formed this Word document, and they broke this down. The reason I'm telling you this story, because I think it's crazy, I'm listening to Mansions Over Hilltop. Look at this. Now I'm in touch with Greece. He's
talking about a
actually
rabbit hole.
By way of the
This
UK.
is the rabbit hole of all rabbits. He starts off
It's a rabbit hole
with
collapsing
a
on a
mansion
rabbit.
over a hilltop, and he ends up at Oxford in England with a
They
professor
send
in
me this
Greek studies.
document with every time it's used. One of them's used over 100 times, 80 times. They're now collaborating. And he said, now, this is so exciting. This is what I'm fixed to teach. I want to thank you, brother, because this is now what I'm fixed to speak to the Persians and send them back. This is exciting that God has included in this and relayed his message that he sent Jesus. This is what we do. So it really, the intensity enhanced a lot. And he basically went through what I'm saying, which I was so excited that he did all this and spent so much time, because this was 24 hours later. He said, I've studied this all day. I've been on a Zoom call with the guy from the UK. And so here's what I did to sum this up. I said, dude, for you doing all this, because he said, and now we're, my interpreter, when I went over there and spoke Jesus to the underground churches in Iran, he said, it's his birthday today. Well, I've been to Athens, and I said, here's what you do, because Larry is like Zach. He's tight. And I ate this crappy food in Greece the whole time, and I said, is there any nice restaurant around here? And he's like, well, there's one on the beach. And I thought, one on the beach outside the city? He's like, but it's really expensive. And I said, I'm buying. And so we went there, and they brought fish freshly caught on a platter at my request, because I said, what kind of fish you got? They
show it to you before they cook it.
Well, they don't normally.
Yeah.
But I said, can I see them? And they lined up a bunch of waiters, because I said, I'm buying. And they brought all these fish out there that they had just caught. And I said, now we're talking. And I said, I want that one. It was a big old grouper.
Yeah.
Which everybody else said, well, we want that. And he said, that's the only one we caught. I was like, well, that's mine.
I'm buying.
Now everybody else will get the other. And it was fantastic. So I said, since you did this, I want to pay for that birthday celebration. Y'all go to that beach. And so they did. They sent me pictures. Oh, they're living it up on my dime, which it cost me $300. So me going down this rabbit hole and being inspired that we're on a mission, the same mission that Jesus had, it cost me $300.
And it was worth every penny.
It was worth every penny, because I feel global excitement that as the Father sent Jesus, he's sending us. The Holy Spirit.
Wow,
to
the rabbit hole that collapsed in a rabbit hole. I don't know. We'll try to clean this up next time. I didn't know where you're going with that story.
Was that not a crazy story?
That's a crazy story. Thanks for listening to the Unashamed podcast. Help us out by leaving a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And don't miss an episode by subscribing on YouTube. And be sure to click the little bell and choose all notifications to watch every episode.